This time we're going to look at a Pioneer Laserdisc. This is a CLD504 that was brought in for service, and a disc got stuck. The fellow that owned it took it apart to try to take the disc out and had a little bit of a problem. It didn't work when he put it back together, so he brought it to me to figure out what he did and fix it for him. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just observe the operation when I try to operate the mechanism. So all that's happening is it says open on the display, but I hear nothing trying to happen. So let's try to open this thing manually by turning the underneath the side here. There's a pulley or a gear here, a pulley. This drives the mechanism. And if I turn this, I should be able to open the mechanism. But I'm betting that the problem is something is not timed properly. So I'm going to turn this and see. Okay, this is looks like the CD tray is going to eject this time. So I'm just going to eject it all the way and see whether it will go back in when I power it up. Nope. It thinks that it doesn't think the CD drawer is open. It thinks the Laserdisc is open. So we have a timing problem. Oh. That's a good sign. I'm curious as to whether perhaps when he had this bracket in, he hadn't put it back in properly, because I haven't really done anything other than take this bracket off and then I powered it up. We'll just try reinstalling this thing and see whether it's just it could have been just this laser got stuck down at the end here. The little drive motor here, sometimes the gear will get a little worm gear there on the end of that drive motor that operates. This is what moves the sled back and forth. And if this gets gummed up here, it can stick. And I'm thinking maybe that's what's happened, is it got stuck. I'm just going to put the mechanism back on top here and see whether the actual disc tray will eject now, because it's possible that it was just out of position. We've all seen those signs, you know, labor rates $80 an hour if you watch, 150 if you help, 200 an hour. This is the reason. You don't want people helping you. People take things apart and don't put them back together and then make us fix their mess up. Okay, let's see now whether I don't need this for the moment. I just want to see whether this thing's going to open when I hit the open button. I like that. That's what it's supposed to do. Okay, then the laser's moving. Excellent. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lubricate. So we'll just shut this off now. I'm going to remove this. I don't know if I need to remove this bracket to lubricate it or not. I probably should, because I think it'll make getting at the actual pickup easier. I want the pickup in its fully forward position. We'll grease the rails and okay, laser's forward now. I grease the rails, grease that little gear that sometimes sticks, because I think that might have been what was happening. Was either when this was put back together, it wasn't put in correctly and it was pulling something out of alignment, or how the laser operates, as we'll see when I play a disc on this. is that the laser plays the bottom side, and then it extends beyond the end of the track where it actually comes off of the rails, flips around, and then there's another set of rails on the top here. Right, this is the top side of the rail, and that's dry. This is dry, this rail. They're all going to be dry. The rail on the other side of this is also going to be dry. And what can happen is, when the lubricant dries up on the slide rails, the laser can get stuck. And I think that's probably what happened on this, is that the laser got stuck. He said his symptom was that it played a disc. It played the second side of the disc, and then when the disc was over, it would not eject. So I don't know whether he caused any problem with taking this thing apart, and it was just a coincidence that when I took it apart it freed it up, or that the laser itself just got stuck in that position where it's reversing and going back down on the other side of the track, and it got jammed at that point, and then the unit just locked up. That's a very common problem on these auto reverse units, and usually you can resolve that by just turning that little nylon gear that's on the front here, which we'll look at when I take this apart again. But that's usually what goes wrong on these auto reverse units. So we're just going to put a small amount on the end of the screwdriver here and just wipe it onto the gears. Let that work its way in, and we'll put some onto the rail. And there's another rail that's on the top. I'll lower the camera down in a minute so you guys can see that, but I'm just going to put some along here and wipe this grease in. Especially down at this end, down here of this slide, because this slide rail down here is what lines it up when the laser spins around. So we're going to put a little more on that slide rail on both the top and the bottom side. It might be easier to see this from the back. That's what I'm looking at. This is what guides the laser onto its track, is this little black. This is where it gets stuck, is right in this area here. As it's coming up this little ramp. That's what lines it up. So we want to make sure that we've got some grease on this rail. And there's another one on the other side, but it's a flat rail. And on the top, you will see that there's another one right up here, and I gotta get in here and grease this one as well. So this top rail needs to be greased. We'll put some on here, and we'll put some along the slide, this rail here. And of course, I'm also going to put some grease on the top side here, this rail, and the one below it, just a little bit. Wipe that one in with my finger. And the one on the bottom, if I can get in there. Okay, now it's time to put the mechanism back together and see if this thing will play a disc. We also want to get some into the gears here. So it looks like there's a hair or something that's stuck in here, doesn't it? There was. Okay, let's get a bit more grease onto this gear here. And there's another gear down underneath the track that I'd like to lubricate too. So we'll just put some on there. Onto this plastic gear, the base. And on the gear that meshes with it. What this screw is, this is a static electrostatic discharge screw. It's just to stop electrostatic charges from building up in this plate, because this is mounted on plastic, right? Because this adjusts, this is the a tilt adjustment for the laser assembly, so this is actually electrically isolated from the rest of the chassis. So this ground wire here is to dissipate any electric charges that would build up, which of course, when you're spinning a polycarbonate disc at 1800 RPM, and that's what speed it spins at for a CAV disc, there is a potential that this could actually build up quite a static charge, and if that static charge were to dissipate anywhere near the laser, it could cause the laser to go poof. So that is why this ground wire is here. That's just to discharge any charge that could be picked up from the mechanism itself due to the spinning disc. Okay, mechanism is back together. We'll power this thing on and see if it opens, and better still, see if it plays the disc. Power on. Open laser. Let's put a disc in it. I've got dozens of classics. I have all the Indiana Jones discs. I have the Beatles, Hard Day's Night, Help, Yellow Submarine. I have Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. I got them all the original ones. And oh, you name it. And I got some classics. I got tons and tons of Laserdiscs. Still love them. You know, for what they were fantastic. This thing looks like it's going to play. Let me plug it into a TV and let's take a look at the picture. Ah, look, it was filmed in BC. Ha ha ha, 1885. It's playing. I'm going to let it play and do an auto reverse on this thing here, and I obviously can't show this for more than a few seconds. Laserdisc has always been a format that it's just fascinated me. I've got in my own collection, let's see, I don't even remember how many Laserdisc players I've got. I've got an old CLD504, which was my first. I have a Panasonic, I forget the model, but I've got a Panasonic. I've got an auto reverse Pioneer, like this one. I don't know if it's a CLD504. No, I think mine's got the jog shuttle, so mine would be one up from this one, maybe two up from this. I've got the I think it's the 905. It's got the CD and DVD player. I've got that one as well. It's auto reverse, plus it has a CD player and a DVD player. I got a big collection of Laserdisc movies. I was always fascinated by the quality, and most of those movies I didn't buy. I bought a few of them, but a lot of them were people gave them to me. For the analog format, for the NTSC format, it was the absolute best in terms of picture quality. People will argue and say that DVD had a better picture, but I will argue that one, because I don't believe DVD had a better picture. With component video out and progressive scanning, DVD could look more fluid because of the native 24 frame playback from film. But most DVDs weren't authored very well and didn't offer much in terms of improved picture over what we had with Laserdisc, which was a pure analog signal with no compression artifacts. And that was the biggest problem with DVD, was that because it was a digital format, we had to deal with compression. Let's turn this thing on to side B. I want to watch the laser change. So if I hit the button there, it'll stop spinning, and the laser's going to spin around and come back the other way. And now the disc reversed and went the other direction. And I'm just going to give this a bit wider shot so we can go back again so you guys can see this thing, because I think I missed it in frame there. But if I go back to the A side, you'll see the laser. And that's where it was sticking, was right there. And the disc just reversed directions if you weren't paying attention. We'll flip it back to the side B so you can watch it stop. So the disc stops, okay? There, see, it's come to complete stop. Now it's going the opposite direction. And that changes directions fairly quick. It's going to eject the disc now. Make sure that it ejects properly. We'll try some CDs on this unit, And I'll go grab one of my test discs that I can show you the quality of. There we go. It's working. One thing that many people don't realize is that laser discs came in 3 sizes. They came in the 12-inch standard size that movies were on. They also came in a smaller 8-inch version, which are typically used for shorter presentations, like music videos. And then they came in a 5-inch compact disc style of video. I've got 3 of these, and only 3. And what these were what was called a CD video. Not a video CD, a CD video. It has 19 minutes and 48 seconds of audio, because the maximum they could put on was 20 minutes, and 5 minutes of video. And if we flip the disc over, first of all, they're gold. But what you see here is the audio portion is on the inner tracks here. If I put this into a regular CD player, it would play the 8 audio tracks. If I put it into a Laserdisc player, it would play the video track followed by the 8 audio tracks. And the first thing it's going to do is it's going to look at it and say, what are you? It shows it as a compact disc. And if I press play, it's Skydivers. So we'll show a couple clips of this. But basically what it allowed was up to a 5-minute music video and then 20 minutes of music. The quality of the picture is comparable to Laserdisc. The intended audience for this was to put a music video. Record companies would release a music video on a CD video and then have like an EP for 20 minutes of music. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to show you guys more than about 3 seconds of this, but this was the 8-inch version of the Laserdisc. And in this case, they only recorded on one side, so this is actually the side that's got the program information on it. So if I open up the tray, you'll see that there's a smaller groove here to put that smaller disc in. And when I play this one, and this is how Pioneer released a lot of material on Laserdisc. It's got a rare recording. Okay, so this is where I'm going to have to cut this off here pretty quick, because you know what's going to happen if I let this thing play for any more than about that long. But this is certainly one of the fun things of collecting Laserdiscs, is that there's a lot of this programming that's out there that was not available in any other, you couldn't get this on, I don't think this ever came out on DVD, but anyway, there's a lot of this stuff out there for people that want to collect. You can find a lot of this stuff on Laserdisc. Of course, if I press the button to play the other side of that disc, this is what would come up on a single-sided Laserdisc. There was stuff recorded on the other side. It basically just had a little message that said, program material is recorded on the other side of this disc. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you can support this channel, if you want to support this channel, you can do so either with PayPal or through Patreon. All donations received, of course, go into production of more content. Thanks again for watching. We'll catch you in the next one real soon.